This is eviL Pacers Recap Live. Thank you for joining us in basketball hell. That was a very eventful game. Bennedict Mathurin and Isaiah Jackson returned to Indianapolis. I think that's the most things that could possibly happen in 0.4 seconds at the end of a game, and the score doesn't even change. In an inbounds pass, a basket, just wow. And then no time goes off the clock as Bennedict Mathurin gets fouled, but he misses both free throws. Pascal gets the rebound, timeout, 0.1 seconds left. Nembhard tries again. Jay Huff gets fouled by Brook Lopez, pretty clear foul, but he misses both free throws. And the Pacers lose after being up 42-21. It might have been higher early in the second quarter. Insane sequence. I'm Derek Kramer, Kyle Taylor. What do you take from all of that?
Like the flowers in spring, my anti-Huff agenda is blossoming.
With April flowers bring Huff showers.
Except he wasn't splashing anything in.
I don't know what today. I just said.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't.
Can I start with the fun thing, or do we have to start at the end?
No, let's start with the fun thing. That sounds better.
I loved every single second of Andrew Nembhard and Ben Mathurin guarding each other this game. Start to finish, as soon as Mathurin checks in the game,
Drew comes in.
We get Rick Carlisle minutes matching Andrew Nembhard to Ben Mathurin. And we get Andrew Nembhard picking him clean. It's like in transition, his first time going down the court. And I watched Andrew Nembhard play, and I thought to myself, you know what? He's been saving a little something this year, because this looks like the Andrew Nembhard I remember. And he wanted to bring it to him all night when the two of them were matched up head-to-head. That, for me, by far, was the highlight of this game. Maybe the Pacers making every three-pointer in sight in the first quarter would be in second place, but really, Ben Mathurin gets a nice tribute video. He's smiling. We're having a good time. And he and Nembhard are going back and forth. I saw, looked like Neesmith had a quote about Ben trash talking all the time. TJ and Ben, John a little bit. I'd like to pretend the end of the game didn't happen at all, actually. I'd like to pretend that everything I just said is the only thing that happened. It's the only thing that happened, right?
Oh my gosh. I like it's so good that like there was just no stress to the end of this game at all. Like imagining this game happening next year when the Pacers will care about every result. Um, and this would be a very different podcast.
I wouldn't be starting with my anti-Huff agenda is blossoming. I might be
No.
yelling.
Yeah. But I agree completely. That's why I wanted to be at the arena today. It's been a little bit since I've made the drive down here. Just an awesome atmosphere. The crowd was giving them lots of praise. They were enjoying them being back in the arena. I love that Drew was like immediately checked in the game as soon as Ben came in the game because that's exactly what I wanted to see. Is those two go head to head, have their like just like this every time they would go up against each other in practice. Just incredible fun. And yeah, he was getting into it with everybody. I think just like the first game, like I feel like Ben feels like he was traded like 1-for-1 for Kobe Brown sometimes because he even like is talking trash to Kobe Brown like that's who the Pacers wanted instead of him. It's just so I love that part about Ben Mathurin. Like he loves his confidence and doing all of that with everybody and seeing that like that kind of competition between these guys that used to be teammates was so fun. Um, and if he would have missed those free throws and then Huff makes them, like he never would have heard the end of it from those guys. Just a really fun game in that way. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think the Kobe Brown of it all, I think, caught up to the Pacers. Him playing 26 minutes after Jarris left the game on maybe the best dunk of his career, and then he hit his head on the floor as he was after he was fouled. Um, yeah, I think that kind of caught up to them eventually, and the lead like just slowly fell away. Reminiscent of a little bit of the game one of the finals where the Clippers almost didn't have a lead for the entire game. They led briefly 5-3 and then took the lead with 0.4 seconds left. I don't know what else do you want to talk about from this one?
Yeah, that is a good reminder. I don't know how much you saw being in the arena, but the Jarris Walker head injury. I've had a concussion before. I've had a couple actually, and I saw
You've had a
his
lot
head
of
hit.
injuries.
I have actually, yeah, I've had a lot of injuries. But I've had a concussion before, and I saw the way his head hit the ground. I saw how. I mean, we've all
Yeah, as
seen them
soon as
enough
that
times in
happened.
football now. You can see it in their eyes.
Yeah.
And as soon as he like sat up a little bit, I was like, "You have to get him out right now. You have to get him out right now." Because
Yeah,
these
I was so
kind of
glad they didn't even let him take the free throw. Like he can still come in the game if it's determined that he's fine, but it was clear that like they needed to examine him. There was no reason to let him like shoot the free throw and then stay in the game until they could get him out.
and you never know with concussions, right? He could be back in a few days or in a week, but it also could be the case that his season ended tonight,
Yeah, which just
um,
sucks. Like it's
which
another
totally
one of
sucks.
these. Like he's the guy who needs these minutes the most, just like Johnny Furphy. And like the Pacers are potentially losing another guy who these games really actually do matter for.
Yeah, and Jarris has been. I mean, there's been genuine ups and downs, but I think on the whole, his season is in a much better place now than it was early on. So we do have that, even if this was the end. But
Yeah.
I, like you, would have liked to see more.
I mean, even
Another sort of
just the play he was hurt on, like seeing him play through physical contact, like
yeah.
we saw that a lot more in the last couple weeks than we like really have much before that. And like he had drawn some fouls early in the year, but it didn't feel like it was like being physical at the rim. And it felt like that was at least happening some more often. I know a lot was made about him taking his first charge on the defensive end. So definitely a lot of encouraging signs toward the end of this year. Feel much better about Jarris. I think everybody does compared to where they were at the beginning of the year.
One other sort of young guy note before we get into the end of the game, which I think we have to talk about. Just a keeping an eye on it thing. Ben Shepherd in the first half today played 2 minutes and 14 seconds.
It's bizarre.
And he came into the game to guard Ben Mathurin briefly, picked up a foul on an inbound, and got benched instantly. What
So
do you make of this? I thought, I mean, very strange.
it was bizarre, like the playing Kobe Brown over Ben Shepherd, which maybe the matchups just like that's how they worked.
No.
They worked out. They didn't want to put
No.
Ben Shepherd on somebody bigger, but
no.
That's what it felt like to me. Is just they, for whatever reason, they chose to play Kobe Brown over Ben Shepherd. It was bizarre to me as well that like he only played those 2 minutes. But like you see the difference in this team, like when they shortened the rotation against the Magic, and they kind of only played the guys that have a chance of playing next year. Just the difference in what that was. I guess he got 2 quick fouls, Anubis says, but it was a while before he even came into the game, correct?
Yes, it was.
Like, it was a long time. So maybe it was a short leash in the first half after the 2 fouls, but you said he only played 2 minutes in the first half. He ended with 18, so they ended up playing him a lot in the second.
Very weird. 0 minutes in the first quarter, 2 in the second quarter, and he closed all 12 minutes of the fourth quarter on the court.
Yeah, just very strange. One of many strange rotation situations in the season.
It is strange, and at the same time, it makes me think of a number of things. The short leash reminds me some of Ben Mathurin and Jarris Walker.
It's true.
The way that the rotation is being handled sort of across the whole team right now, you wonder a little bit who's in the rotation next year, and if the rotation really is like 8 guys and maybe 9, and hopefully Johnny Furphy's ACL recovery goes really well.
Yeah,
the two-way guys are running out of. The leash is, short. I don't think is accurate. I don't think there's a leash. I think they're indoors on the bench.
Yeah, you hope they keep the pick, and that guy's obviously going to be one of the 9 guaranteed if they keep that pick. Like he's going to play. But yeah, then it's a question of whether can they trust guys like Jarris, or what is the backups center situation going to be? Is Huff going to be the backup, or is Huff more of the third string emergency change of pace? Let's play a stretch big tonight, backup kind of center. I don't know. We can go ahead and go into the end of the game. Besides the 0.4 seconds, it was kind of bizarre. It reminded me of the beginning of the Lakers game for a while. Like the Pacers were either turning the ball over with god awful turnovers, or they were making shots, and there was nothing else. Some of the turnovers at the end of the game were just unbelievably bad. Like Drew has been incredible about taking care of the ball. I think the last 3 games he's now at 43 assists and 6 turnovers, and both the turnovers tonight were at the end of the game. One I think probably was the inbounds make counted as a turnover, I'm guessing.
It's throwaway into row 3
that one was bizarre. Just I don't know what. It must have been a miscommunication with what he thought Obi, I think, was going to do. Maybe he thought he was going to go into the corner instead of the wing, but just bizarre. St. Anubis, we might talk about those things. I know Kyle had opinions on those three tank strategies. We can talk about that now, or do you want to wait until after the TJ Awards?
Let's save it. But let's wrap the end of the game, do the awards, and then we'll give that a mention along with March Madness, which spoiler, I watched concurrently all of St. John's Duke while watching this game.
Yeah, I had multiple people in press row were watching it, and I would check in a little bit, but I was not paying attention. I was not paying attention to that game as much, but multiple people in press row were paying just as much attention to Boozer. All right, let's jump into the TJ Awards. We'll hit a little bit more of the game that way, and then we'll dive into the last segment here. Okay, I feel like the Pacers got 8 games left. They were up by 21 at the end of the first quarter and they lost. So I think we have to first give a Tank Commander award. Who's your nominee for the Tank
Oh
Commander?
wow, you're throwing me for a loop here. I mean, it's got to be J Huff. I don't even think there's
There's
there are
definitely other
questionable
cases, but
rotation decisions.
there's a lot at the end of the game.
But only one person lost the game.
I think you take away a couple other things and they still win. They still win. J Huff is the obvious
He's 80% free throw shooter. Needs to go 1 for
is
2
a
to send it to
perennial
overtime.
yes. Kobe Brown's 26 minutes. I guess they were positive. They won those minutes, so I can't give it to him. Ben Shepherd's foul with 31 seconds on the rebound that gave the Clippers stopping the clock when they were down 3, and then they could just play for a stop and get the opportunity to give the ball to Kawhi. That foul doesn't happen, and it's a lot harder for the Clippers to play that out how they did.
Derek, you're letting J Huff off the hook easy.
They tried to let J Huff off the hook too. He definitely deserves it. I'm just saying there's lots of people that have the opportunity. We could, like you said, Rick, with the rotation decisions of waiting that long to play Shepherd. Like I like Slauson more than I like Kobe Brown, but obviously there's the 2-way contract situation there. But yeah, maybe we can get to him in one of the other awards, but
I mean, look, fundamentally, when you blow a 24-point lead, everyone shares some degree of responsibility, of course. Drew throws the ball into, row 3. Aaron Nesmith, breakaway for Obi Toppin, just throws it way off target. If it's even close to him, those are 2 free points. And to say nothing of the fact that Andrew Nembhard and Pascal Siakam went 1 for 12 in the fourth quarter, which is insane.
It was a bizarre game for Pascal. We haven't mentioned him, and a lot of times we don't mention him because we take for granted how good he is. And this was like tied for his worst game of the season. I was talking with Tony during post game. He had like almost this exact game against the Heat in January. Tony found this. I did not. I was like, there can't be any games this year, right, where he had more turnovers than made field goals. But like same scenario. He's 4 for 16 tonight for 11 points with 5 turnovers. And against the Heat in January, he was 4 for 15 with 5 turnovers and 11 points. Like bizarre almost how identical those are, but they're the aberration. We know that Pascal is amazing. But yeah, it was a weird game from him, and he had the chance to kind of ice it and missed one at the end that he's been hitting in basically every game the Pacers have won this year.
It is a tough shot. That one's no better than 50-50, so I don't fault him too much. Let's go to the positives. My nominee for the Tyrese John Halliburton Mr. Pacer of the Game Award is going to go to Obi Toppin.
Love it.
2 reasons. He's coming in for J Huff, and Micah Potter had a decent game offensively. Defensively, he's got nothing on Brook, which is life. He's just undersized. Obi's coming in to play small ball 5. The putback dunks were awesome. Those were a big highlight for me. When you have a foot injury like he had, I wonder a little bit about just comfort, explosiveness. Those things are weird. It's not a muscle injury, obviously, but bones in your feet just take a long time to heal. Unfortunately, that's kind of the nature of that part of your body. So you just don't know how it's going to be. He's getting his win back. He's on a minutes restriction, and he still comes out with, what did he have? 28 and 4 in 22 minutes, which is pretty incredible, like nearly a point a minute. I was pretty thrilled with his game. He knocked down threes. I saw him play today, and I didn't realize it was only 22 minutes, and it's the most he's looked like himself since he's been back, in my eyes, at least.
Yeah, Obi's it's just really good to see him find his rhythm. Like you could tell when he first came back, it took him some time to kind of get going again. I thought he was fantastic. Absolutely. It just looked like Obi from last year, like nailing threes, like getting the dunks that we're used to seeing from him, like seeing some of these, the lobies, the lobbies, whichever way you want to say it, looks better in print than it does to say it out loud.
No, this is going to stop here for a second. You're gonna say Lobe?
I don't know which way.
You,
Which like it's you're messing up one of the words either way.
lobby? Who says lobby?
I don't. I say Lobe, but
yeah, Lobe. Good. Okay. All right. Continue.
That was one of my favorite plays in the last game. By the way, that was the Drew's like live dribble left hand pass from the wing to hit him. Drew had another awesome alley oop this time to Micah Potter in this game. Shout out to Drew. Neesmith is for this award 10 for 14 from the floor, 26 points, led the team. Like the only thing that you can kind of give him a downgrade for is he had 5 turnovers, but I thought a lot of it was like he's trying to take more of a responsibility in the offense, and sometimes he's still trying to do too much. I really like the Pacers were like in a rut in the second quarter. They couldn't score at all. They like scored 10 points in the first 8 minutes of the second quarter, and he hit that like the hook shot that was more like what Ty does as he's driving. So it gave me a little reminder of watching Tyrese Halliburton play, which is never a bad thing to see the tie hook. Just really like how Aaron's played lately, and like his like level of like effort and care, the like great level of emotion that he's showed in these recent games. It's just been fun to see in a season that has not been great overall. Yeah, I just really liked how Aaron played tonight.
Totally. And he's just looking a little bit better in general. I still wish on his drives, he had a couple good drives tonight and some that weren't as good. I still wish there was a second option. I don't even care what it is. I just really continue to feel like he has too often. He has like one speed and one mindset on his drives. I'd love to see a floater. I'd love to see um, more variety in his finishing at the rim. He had one where he just sort of went straight into Brook Lopez, and I'm sorry, but even at his age, Brook is still too good for that,
Yep.
And too big for that. But there has been some improvement there, at least to my eye.
Absolutely. And like I think I don't know what his 2-point percentage is at, but like at the beginning of the season, like it was just dreadful. Like so many players shooting percentages from everywhere on the floor were, but 4 for 5 from 3 tonight, so that makes him 6 for 9 from 2. So definitely solid there, even with some of those shots being difficult, and he did have the turnover problems. I'll let you give the next nominee here.
Ooh. Wow. There are some things that are forgettable about this game. This is a tough second award. If you have someone to go to, you should go to it, because I don't really want to bash on Jay Huff more than I already have, but it is staring me in the face.
Hoping you had one, and I'd think of it. I think my but I was losing my connection. I was stalling when I asked you to nominate somebody. So I would try to think of something, but I can give it to somebody. We'll just do we'll do the TJ Leaf Award.
Oh, my finger was hovering over the slide. Oh no. I'm sorry. I really didn't want to go here. For a game where they looked good for so long, I feel bad about winding up here, but unfortunately there are nights to forget from multiple people.
Nights to forget, and that's exactly what Rick Carlisle said about Jay Huff. Like he said, if it was me, like he obviously said, I've been in the league for 42 years. I'd give myself an hour, and then I'm all over it, and I'm on to the next one. Every guy. It's a situation where we're not in a playoff, and hope that you make it the next time, and you just try to learn from it from a process standpoint. All of those things. Somebody asked Obi, because he said something similar to start. But somebody asked Obi, like, have you been in that situation before? Like, what's going through your mind? And Obi was like, I don't think I have. So like for that a lot of guys are in very often. Huff played very, very and Obi's played a bunch for the Pacers. So Like it is something new. It's not like a great like feeling of like, yeah, we can trust this guy at the end of a game if we need him. Like a lot of these things in these games, I feel like, what am I supposed to make judgments on? But this felt like something where that might be in your mind in terms of just like when you need something at the end of a game that kind of takes a little trust away. But nobody was blaming him for the loss. Anybody that came up there, Neesmith said the same thing. Like he said, he did say something to Huff, and all the guys were like, "He works hard. You got to trust your work. It happens." But yeah, certainly not a night to remember for Jay Huff. In 20 minutes, he was 1 for 4, had 3 points, and then missed the game deciding free throws there.
I was trying to avoid saying more bad things about Jay. Sorry to Jay. Truly a forgettable night for him. As a wrap from our previous point on Mr. Pacer Aaron Neesmith, before February, he was shooting 47% at the rim. Since February, 63.
Awesome.
So some real improvement there. It's not a ton of shots. It's only 30 shots actually in that time. So take it or leave it, but maybe a little bit of something. I can't believe I'm saying this, and probably the only time all season he's ever won this award from us. But I think someone who I hope will forget the night they had, at least on the offensive end, is Pascal Siakam. Sorry to him, 4 for 16 is not his own standard, which of course he knows. He has a shot at the end where, as you said, he's got a reasonably good chance to make it and has made it to win a game this season already. It didn't drop tonight. Defensively, I thought he was still all right. So it's not like an overall game to forget, at least in my mind, but he's better than he showed tonight, and that's okay.
Did I completely disappear? Am I back?
You've been in hell the whole time.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe that you nominated Pascal for this when there are so many candidates. You could I fed you Ben Shepherd. Not only did he have that foul with 30 seconds left, he also like needlessly helped off of Darius Garland in the corner when they were up 6.
That was
like,
strange.
Gave up
Yeah, it's a very
far
good point.
too easy corner 3. I just feel Kobe Brown's always a candidate. I feel like I'm picking on Kobe Brown at this point.
Well, but the thing is, I wouldn't nominate him for such an award because I've already forgotten about him. I hold Pascal to this higher standard, so I have hopes and beliefs in him. And I'm saying to Pascal, just forget about it. It's not that big a deal.
I'm just saying I think we all want to forget about TJ Leaf. I don't think
No, I don't ever want to forget about Pascal Siakam, of course.
Exactly. All right.
See, but
okay.
I interpret this award as just as as just a night to forget, as opposed to we want to bury you.
Oh, that's fair. We've definitely given way. Hopefully, we give way less of these of the TJ Leaf awards next year. Let's hope for that.
Yeah, that's right. We're getting it out of our system.
Way too high of a percentage this season. Okay, you gotta nominate somebody for something.
I do have to nominate somebody for something, which is pretty concerning. I think this might be the kind of night where let me review the box score and just make sure that I'm. Oh man. Gosh. I'm gonna do some. I'm gonna cheat. We're gonna cheat a little bit. We're gonna have a little hype train. Very small hype train. It's just barely leaving the station here. Okay. Just a few puffs of steam, and then it's gonna go off the tracks a little bit. The Andrew Nembhard first half performance is getting the hype train from me. I said this in the game recap. I see him come in, and my eyebrows raised because I'm not making any accusations. I'm only saying that I saw a level of effort tonight, which I have not always seen. For whatever reason that may or may not be. Maybe tonight was 110% for him. but I don't really think so. I think tonight was closer to 100 in the first half, and some of these other games on defense, specifically on defense, have not been. I think he's, by and large this season, tried to focus on his offensive game for very understandable reasons. And to be honest, there have been times in the season when I've started to have a little bit of like, some of basketball is just flow and rhythm, and some of it is a switch that you can flip. And defense is one of the things that I feel generally as being a little bit more the former, a flow thing, a rhythm thing. The team chemistry is really good. The execution is at a really high level. And for Andrew this season, he's just dialed it back, which is fine. And also, it's the kind of thing where I really value these moments where we get a window back into the Andrew Nembhard turning it up a little bit. Now, the second half, we're going to pretend that Darius Garland never crossed him up. That didn't happen. This is a first half award and a first half award only. The hype train, as I said, may have gone off the rails after that, but we're taking the first half.
I mean, you could just add his 19 assist night.
Totally, yeah. That's great point, because we have in the past given awards over
included
time.
Some previous games, yeah.
And this is obviously a 19 assist night. Those two passes, the one to Micah Potter tonight and the half court to Obi before, those are sick passes. I know that there's sometimes, I mean, assists are like hand tracked in the arena. It's not like a rebound or a point, which is obvious and sort of like, who did it when you saw it. An assist is a little bit more art than science. Those are like he threw someone open and not many people are making that pass. Those were sick.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna cheat in my nominee for this award as well, and I'm gonna give the Hype Train Award all aboard to Tyrese Halliburton for hyping up the crowd.
Shingles? That's what you're going with right now? The man got over a disease?
No. Let me finish. Hyping up the crowd for bricking for chicken. It was literally the loudest this arena was the entire night. It felt like a playoff game. I can only imagine how happy Quinn Buckner was on the broadcast since I was in the arena.
Yeah, absolutely thrilled.
Glorious. I'll give it to Quinn too. Combo effort, because Quinn Buckner's feeding off of Tyrese every time he does this, where he gets real excited about it. And it literally bricking for chicken, woke up this arena in a close fourth quarter game, and they were into it from that point on. Like, the crowd stayed at like a good level of intensity that was fun and enjoyable, like from bricking for chicken on in the last 7 minutes of the game or whatever it was. It was awesome. Usually, it's like not a great atmosphere when the loudest point in the arena is the t-shirt toss. So at least bricking for chicken for that to be the loudest moment. Potentially, it might have got louder at the end of the game with all the craziness. But at least that was something that happened on the court, part of the basketball game. Love to see it. Okay.
Jordan Miller getting the shout out from us for bricking for chicken.
Shout out you, Jordan Miller. I don't remember. I think it might have been Derek Jones. I could be wrong. No, Derek Jones Jr. didn't take any free throws, so it had to be Jordan Miller. 1 for 3. Ajax was 0 for 2, but I don't think that wasn't in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
He would have done it on purpose, just for his former fans.
Yeah, it's bleak. It's bleak when our nominees are bricking for chicken and Andrew Nembhard in the first half and in the previous game. Tough.
It's not called,
small.
It's not called the year for hell for no reason.
Terrible tunnel.
Okay. All right. So, what do you want to talk about first? You want to give us your March Madness takeaways? You've been locked into these games more than I have, so I won't have too many opinions here.
Let's give St. Anubis a hat tip here. Okay, for those who are, maybe people are aware, maybe they're not. Shams Charania tweeted today that the NBA presented 3 anti-tanking concepts. I'm not going to read them in full. I'm going to summarize them. One of the concepts is essentially the exact same as it is now, but changing the lottery from 4 teams to 5. That's it. That's one of the ideas. The second idea is taking that a small step further and basically saying, rather than have the lottery be contested among teams who miss the playoffs, it should also include the teams who are seeds 7 through 15. So we're including not even all the play-in teams, but some of them. And the best odds go from 14% down to 8. The third idea takes it even further in this direction and puts 22 teams in the lottery and uses their 2-year records. The WNBA does this, 2-year records, not just 1-year records, with a top 4 drawn as it is now. That last idea also, this is sort of the most aggressive, if you want to call it, in this direction. I didn't read the details on this, but has what he calls a minimum win floor total, meaning you have to like win a certain number of games to even get entered into the lottery in the first place. Okay,
I
Zach Lowe,
thought it was just. I thought it was just if you had less wins, you get moved up to the minimum total, regardless. Did I misinterpret that?
Right. The point is that there is no benefit to like before win 25, you can't actually have better odds than a team with 25 wins.
Okay. Yeah. So you just get moved up to 25 wins if you have less, regardless.
Right.
Got it.
Okay. I'm not going to say too much about this, but there are two things I'm going to say. One is something that Zach Lowe said, and he's absolutely right about this. If the NBA really cares about addressing tanking, then everything that is sort of like trimming around the edges, which is what most of these ideas do, just trimming around the edges, is not going to change things. And he's right. As long as the draft is partially or in whole about sort of the reverse order of your record, there's going to be incentive to be worse, and you just change which teams tank. So if there's a benefit to going out, like from being out of the play-in, like someone who's in the play-in tanking to get away from the play-in because their odds jump from 1% to 8% chance of winning the lottery, they can just like lose 8 games to end the season or go 1-8 and get there. They're going to do it. So that's number one. Trimming around the edges, not going to cut it. The second thing that I would say is that the NBA keeps presenting this as like, we need to address tanking. We need to address tanking. We need to incentivize teams to win. And there is essentially a zero sum. As long as they're tweaking, trimming around the edges, it's zero sum between competitive balance and rooting out tanking. Every shift you make right in the current system that slightly addresses tanking harms competitive balance, because all of these changes make bad teams stay bad for longer. If you do what the NFL does and just straight reverse order, you're going to have hella tanking every few years, especially when someone like Wemby comes around. But then that team's going to get Wemby and they're not going to tank again. And in this world where 18 or 22 teams are in the lottery and the Wizards and the Nets just can't get out of the basement, they have no way to get out of the basement unless Nico Harrison is on the other phone with them making a trade. So those are my two things: competitive balance, incentivizing teams to be good rather than punishing teams to be bad, and then this is just. The NBA is just fundamentally not serious about this. And by that, I mean, they want bad headlines to go away, and that's it. That is all they are. That is all they are trying to do. They do not fundamentally care about the issue beyond that. If no one was talking about it, they wouldn't be doing these changes. People are talking about it, so they're pushing for them. That's what it is. That's why we're here. And it's a shame.
Yeah, when I think about this, I'm like, would any of these situations like change how the Pacers approached this season in the slightest? And I don't think it really would. Like a lot of the issue, I think the underlying issue that makes all of this stand out even more is the season's too long. And if you don't address that, like these end of the seasons, no matter what the incentives are, I just don't know how much it's worth playing your best guys when there could be injuries on the line, when you're 30 games under 500, and like how much do you want?
I mean, sorry to interrupt, Derek. I would even say football has started to see this. Like the
Yeah,
shift in
the
like
end of the year for
increasing
them is
games.
awful.
Yeah, even just one game in a football season, obviously the end of the season in football is always kind of rough for teams at the bottom, but even adding one game, that sort of like staring into the abyss of like this is pointless, we may as well lose on purpose. You're making a good point. Like they're just drawing it out further. All of these shifts are just about how long you tank and how many teams tank and where it happens. But basketball is a star-driven game, and that's just whoever gets the number 1 pick, the number 2 pick, the number 3 pick, generally speaking, more often than any other sort of way out, that is the best way out of the basement. Um, and that's what it is. I don't have other. Those are my. We talked about tanking and crazy ideas like the wheel before, so you can go
Yeah,
back
I'm
and listen
still
to our thoughts about that.
I got from my perspective as like a Pacers supporter, like I don't care as much because I don't think the Pacers, like, normally they're not in this situation. Like, they have a good team that they're hopeful will be ready to go next year. Um, they like had this year from hell at the right time, I guess, since they're trying to do all this. Great, like if
And
they go to like,
unfortunately, we're only going to be able to judge that in retrospect.
it's very true. And the like, but if they go to like this, just everybody has an 8% chance. Like, then I guess if the Pacers have one of those years where they're just like out of the play-in, like after this Tyrese era, or if they have more injuries than normal one year, whatever, then they have a great chance of like randomly slotting in the lottery. Like like the Pacers haven't had a top 5 pick in my lifetime. So like in theory, this probably leads to the Pacers having a better chance of getting more top picks. So from like if they continued on their typical path, what they've done in the past, then it's probably good for the Pacers overall. It's just bizarre to me. I don't like the idea of giving first round losers something in the lottery. I think if you give lottery odds to teams that lose in the first round, you have to get rid of conferences too. Because then, like, I just can't. You're giving the 5th seed in the West who happen to lose their first round series, you're going to give them a chance to get one of these top 3 picks and it
I mean, we're
not
talking
even
about like
be
46, 48, even like 49, 50 win teams.
like, that's insane to me. I think the teams that lose in the play-in, maybe, but even then, I would be against it unless they get rid of conferences because the draft is already you already have the draft contributing to the conference imbalance just because these teams in the West that are better typically, there's teams in the West that have better records than the bottom of the East playoff teams, but they don't make the playoffs. So they're getting a better pick in that 10 to 14 range compared to the East teams that probably wouldn't be playoff teams if there were no conferences. And but they're picking 15 to 17, and that little bit of difference just contributes to the conference imbalance. And I only think that would be worse potentially if these first round losers get lucky in the lottery when they have a 2% chance compared to everybody else
Yeah,
just
again,
having an 8.
I just care way, way, way more about competitive balance than I care about the sort of like shame and embarrassment of tanking.
Yeah.
I care way more that like the Wizards haven't had a 50 win season in like 50 years. The Spurs have had like, what was it, 14 consecutive, 16 consecutive 50 win seasons under Pop, something like that. That is the
Well,
kind of imbalance.
and they tanked at the 2
Yeah,
right times.
that's right.
And then
And the
they
Spurs,
took advantage of Wemby injuries and got lucky in the lottery before and after that too.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, the Spurs built a dynasty in the past and maybe building one now entirely off of lottery luck and tanking. Like 100% and nothing else. And in the meantime, and that's okay, by the way. I'm not mad that the Spurs got the number 1 pick and the number 1 pick is good. What makes me sad is that I have friends who are Wizards fans and like the Pacers had the run of a lifetime last year and it wasn't the first time for that many fans got to see their team in the finals, and it certainly wasn't the first time we got to see our team in the conference finals. In fact, it was the second in 2 years. And I remember leaving game 3 of the finals I was like glowing. The tunnel, people are just like yelling and screaming. It's not even words. People aren't even saying anything. They're just yelling. The Pacers are up 2-1 in the NBA Finals, and I texted my friends, one of whom is a Wizards fan. I hope all of you get to experience this one day. Watching your team win a home game in the finals is incredible. And I I don't care at all about this appearance of bad stuff. I want these other fan bases to have it good one day. And so to me, the aims that the NBA and the league office is pursuing are just totally off the mark. I yeah, that's really all I have to say on this right now.
Yeah. And we talked about this before. Like, we talked for like 30 minutes, and they were basically like, maybe tanking's not even really that big of an issue. And I think I'd be more in favor of, instead of making the odds more flat, going the opposite direction. And then you only really have a reason to tank if you're one of the like 3 or 4 worst teams, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, just stop giving any incentives for the 5 through 11 to be as bad as possible.
Yeah, it's weird. They
These
invented
scenarios.
the play-in, and then they were like, by the way, it's beneficial if you're around the play-in. It's better to lose, by the way. Right?
Right.
They
I mean,
didn't
think
do
about those
anything.
teams. If they make the playoffs, they have a better chance. And Tony brought this up today when we were talking about these things, so I'll give him credit here. But like, those teams have a better chance of winning the lottery than they do of winning the playoff series, even if they make the playoffs. So
Totally.
why would those teams
Unless
like,
you're
they
the
don't have
Charlotte
it?
Hornets this year.
That's fair, because they
Who,
have been
by the way,
incredibly fun to watch ever since that LaMelo it's terrible
the
alley oop against the Pacers.
oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they have just been unbelievable. They're probably a little bit unbelievable before that too, but just, yeah, wow, Charlotte. That's like an incredible turnaround. Shout out to them for sure.
Okay, I'll wrap with a couple thoughts from March Madness. I've focused on Duke actually. I hate them. I hate watching them. I hope they lose every game for the rest of the time that they are a functioning basketball team, and I hope that they lose so many times that they fold the basketball team and they no longer have a program at all. That's how I feel about Duke. Nevertheless, I watched them play Siena, TCU, and today I did double duty and watched St. John's because I've been trying to get a better read on Cam Boozer. I sort of had this with DeBonsa, where I watched him the first time and I was like, don't quite get it. Watched him again, started to get it. This one is a little bit different. The more I watch Duke, the more impressed I am with their team and their coaching. And I view Boozer as he is the most important player on their team. Period. I have no concern about that. But I am, I'm watching him because somebody told me that he's one of the 3 best guys in the draft, right? That's the reason I'm watching him, not because I'm not a draft person at all. So I'm taking somebody else's word and running with it. And that's a good thing, because if it was taking my word for it, I don't know that I would have him as like absolute top 3 for sure, and maybe number 1. When I watch Duke play, I see a team that is incredibly defensively disciplined, incredibly versatile. Today they beat St. John's essentially by switching to zone with about 12 minutes to go and just burying St. John's offense in the mud. It was Rick Pitino tried different things to get it going, but he just couldn't. And the same thing had happened against Siena, which was a surprisingly exciting game. Siena ran zone against them. Duke came back and ran zone against Siena. And in all of these games, it's been a little bit like Cam Boozer feeling it out. He's really good on the move. I really like him driving toward the basket with a full head of steam. But man, in all of these games, he has some just mind-bendingly bad turnovers. It happened tonight on back-to-back inbounds passes. St. John's is pressing full court. It's sort of Pacers like watching. Even more. This is really more like high school team, even not even like the Pacers last year. This is just a straight up full court press from St. John's, and he just throws the ball away. St. John's lays the ball in. He takes the ball out of the basket and throws it out of bounds again on back to back. And there are some of these instances, blind doubles, he's had a lot of trouble reading. Derek, you and I have texted about this, where he just seems not to have a good sense for where the help is always coming from. He has to like the blind double works really well. He does sort of adapt. He got blind doubled in this game, got lost, had to give it up. It happened again sometimes later in the game, and he effectively turned away from it toward the basket. In the second half, he gets going as Shire sort of like draws up more sets that give him a runway. But frankly, he also got going because Isaiah Evans, a shooting guard on Duke's team, just absolutely lit it up in this game and was burying every shot from three. And it stretched out the defense, and that created more runway, which he took advantage of, and which he would have the advantage of in most NBA offenses. And at the same time, when I've watched Peterson and DeBonsa play, they are more likely the ones creating that runway for themselves. And Boozer is doing a really good job benefiting from the gravity other people have. But these are my sort of scattered reactions to watching him play. It is coming to like I just there's no way around this. I'm just more excited about Peterson and DeBonsa. That's just it. And I'm total like I am not a draft person, and you should watch these people and come to your own conclusions. Um, at this point, though, I've watched more of Boozer than I've watched of Peterson, and about as much as I've watched of AJ. And if it's just like Kyle's excitement meter, AJ and Darren are like a 10 out of 10, and I'd be really happy with Cam. But am I excited? It's a different feeling. I'd be really satisfied.
Yeah, I know. I 100% know that if the Pacers end up taking Boozer, that I am going to fully talk myself into him, and like I'll fall in love with him if they do end up taking him. But he's definitely the one where I just don't get it yet. I haven't watched him as much as you, but I'm surprised to hear you say like some of the like, and you've said we've texted about it a little bit, but I am surprised like your concerns are more like the processing offensively in terms of just like dealing with the amount of attention that he's getting. And maybe that's like he wouldn't see as much attention. Like he's probably not going to get blind doubled in
I mean,
the
AJ's getting and Darren, they're getting like face guarded.
Right. Yeah, like that first game we
So
watched Darren Peterson play, and like he was lighting everything up against BYU, and yeah, he was getting face guarded after like 5 minutes of that game. Um, so yeah, like the defense is what like I'm struggling with Boozer. Like I don't know, and I'm not a draft person either, and a ton of people that I trust and enjoy their draft opinions, and they know way more. They're more into this than I am. But I don't know if he can make up for his defensive like weaknesses. Like that's the area of the four that I'm more concerned about. I don't know who he guards. Um, but that's just in my limited watching of him. And like I said, if the Pacers end up with him, I'm probably gonna fully talk myself into it. And like everything I hear about his processing and his IQ of the game, and like I think that would be an awesome fit offensively for the Pacers in terms of like having the guy who knows how to make those quick decisions and what they need to do next to flow into the next action and all of those things. But yeah, I don't know.
my feel
I'm
today,
definitely AJ one for me still for sure. Just the athletic big wing. I think even if you just boil it down to that, like it feels like it's hard to go wrong with that to me.
yeah, I felt in the game today, and listen, I'm again right. I have not watched his whole season, and you should trust everyone else's opinion who's a draft person more than me. I felt watching today that uh, he benefited from having the read simplified for him, especially when the read was, we're going to give you a runway, and option one is you go to the rim and score, as opposed to, here is the ball we're going to give you the ball at the elbow. Um, and it's, like triple threat, or we're going to give you the ball in the post and we expect you to make every read and pass out of it. There are just enough times now have happened where I've felt like now the benefit is that you can see the gears turning, I feel like, whereas sometimes when I watch AJ, I felt like I don't know if the gears are there. The guy, I mean, listen, the context is so hard to judge here. The gears, I'm not sure if they're turning, but like that BYU team, I have not impressed. I liked Richie Saunders. I did not like the rest of that BYU team. And if you're AJ DeBonsa, like who are you supposed to pass the ball to, right? So I'm not being too critical of that. Boozer's got a great team, and there are times when I feel like I see the gears in his head moving, but they're just not moving fast enough, and they're moving slowly enough.
Like he is super young, and and maybe that's what it is, and like maybe we're not taking that into account as much as we should. Is just how young that he is. He's younger than most of these guys that are in this conversation. So
yes, and at the same time, I've watched Duke enough now, and I am most excited when Isaiah Evans comes in the game.
That does feel like it says something.
Yeah, and part of that is because him being in the game opens up the floor for other. I mean, they're just running high pick and roll, getting Isaiah Evans involved in this game, and it's just giving St. John's fits because Isaiah Evans has such a quick I mean, he's a great shooter. Like I'm watching him, and I mean, he's a really good shooter, and that is what's giving Cam Boozer the runway he needs to attack. Which again, that's more like what he would have in the NBA. So that's not fundamentally a criticism. But I am saying that when Isaiah Evans comes in the game, I'm like, all right, here we go now. Like it's on.
All right. We'll go ahead and wrap it up there. We'll keep watching these guys. We'll have more discussions about these top prospects. And we only have 8 games left in this year from hell. 8 games. That's it. And then it's over until lottery night. And then we'll see how we feel on that night.
We are still planning to live stream that. And
somebody just told me it's on Mother's Day. So
oh no,
that'll be fun. But that is still the plan. That we'll definitely go live on lottery nights. We'll find a game or two in this remaining season. The season's almost over. I'm going to take my daughter to a game. We'll probably go to the last game of the season. She's been begging me to go, and we'll get one in before the end of the year. She'll have.
You only got 2, 3, 4 home games left. Yeah, 4 home games left.
Planning on probably the fan appreciation night because that's always a fun one to go to for kids, and there's always extra stuff going on and all that. So it's a great one, fun, ridiculous game. Never seen anything like that. Those last 0.4 seconds. The Pacers have the least amount of wins in the season again. Let's spin a tankathon spin, and then we'll call it. Why not? Do the Pacers keep their pick or not tonight? What's your prediction?
No,
they don't.
I should always say yes. I don't know why I'm saying no. It's 52% chance of yes.
It's true. We don't have 100 episodes, so the odds might not work out for you. I'm just spinning.
Wow.
And we're stuck in limbo forever. We're never going to escape hell. We're in purgatory. Oh my gosh. Did it finally end? What happened?
They lost it.
Oh my god.
They lost it.
I've never seen it do that before.
Neither have I.
Oh, well, that was awful. Okay. We'll see you next time. Appreciate you. Sorry if my audio was terrible. I know I kept cutting in and out tonight. Appreciate you for sticking with us. See you next time. Drill. Can you hear that drill?